What's up, y'all? I'm back with another video, and today I want to talk about how it's okay to be wrong, and it's okay to admit that you were wrong. We're all wrong about things from time to time, and if you admit it, it's not going to be the end of the world. And first off, I want to start out by reading this comment from Law Gaunt, and this was on my Game Over little lyric video that I made. And he writes, "Glad you have all the answers now and you can talk shit about people and call them stupid. You definitely are doing better. Weed must have held your tongue in place before, but now you are free to insult at will. So proud of how you slay your ex-friends. Carry on, sir. This is your fight against your ex's, enemies." I can understand that. That song was a little rough, but then again, it's just a song. It's not super serious. But I can see his point. He thinks I'm all high and mighty now because I'm on the globe side and I can talk down to the flat earthers and stuff. But you know what? I'm not above that. I can clearly admit when I'm wrong. I've done it in past videos. I said I was wrong about everything. All those memes I made, they were all wrong. All the flat earth proofs that I thought I had, they were all wrong. And I would like to actually bring up two recent proofs that I thought I was correct about, but I have been shown that I wasn't. I was totally wrong. In a previous video not too long ago, I was talking about how the moon wasn't see-through, but in that video, I also talked about how I thought the moon was self-lit. And my reasoning was because it didn't have a specular highlight. If the sun was shining on it, I figured it should have had a specular highlight on it, which is that bright spot. However, it doesn't. It's lit up evenly all around. However, thanks to swaaalla, I'm not sure if I said that right. There's 3 A's in there. Maybe it's swaaalla. He brought to my attention that it's possible that there isn't a specular highlight on there. And I was like, yeah, right, no way. And he actually has videos up about it. I suggest you go check him out. He's got some really good videos explaining how the moon is lit up and stuff. Because actually what started the conversation was he had painted a basketball the same color as the moon, and he set it up and then shined his car headlights on it, and it showed how it lit up half of the ball evenly. And I was like, yeah, but dude, you're hitting it with 2 headlights. I was like, that's probably going to get rid of the specular highlight. And then he's like, no, dude, that's not how it works. He's like, there is no specular highlight if you have a dull surface. So I was like, yeah, right, dude. I was like, whatever. I was like, do it again, but do it with 1 headlight. And so he's like, well, let me try again. But then while he was doing that, while he was replying, I was like, let me go test this myself. I was like, I've got the stuff. I can go test this. I've got a workout ball in the other room, and it's shiny, and I know it has a specular highlight on there because I've seen it before. So I was like, let me go see what happens if I throw like a gray hoodie over it, see if that will get rid of the specular highlight, and check out the results. All right, and as you can clearly see, there are actually 2 specular highlights on this ball. The lower one is from the light that's coming in through the window, and the top one is from the overhead light that's in the room. So let's see what happens when we cover this with a dull gray hoodie. This would be similar to the surface of the moon. Ooh, where'd it go? Where'd those specular highlights go? Looks like they're totally gone now, which would clearly explain why the moon doesn't have one. And actually, let's hit it with a bright flashlight and see if we can get a highlight on it. Maybe the light's not bright enough. As you can see, there is no specular highlight whatsoever. It's all the same. It's lighting up the entire gray surface the same. So as you can clearly see, if there's a dull surface, there is not going to be a specular highlight. When I did that, I was like, holy shit. I was like, he's right. So everything I thought before was wrong. I thought every single sphere had to have a specular highlight. However, that only works if it has a shiny or a reflective surface. So before you go jumping down my throat about how there's a specular highlight on that high altitude balloon footage where it shows the sun and then that bright spot underneath, that's because that's over water. it's going to reflect a specular highlight. However, if it was a dull surface, it clearly wouldn't do that. So right there, I was wrong. I learned something new. And I feel smarter for now knowing it. Thank you, swaaalla. I appreciate you educating me on that. It's great. And like I said, go check out his videos. He's got a lot of videos with different little proofs and stuff. I mean, he's spot on. He's spot on. So, I mean, that's just one. And then yesterday I was out doing a hike, and I live right here on the front range. So everything to the west of me is mountains, and then pretty much everything to the east of me is plains. So it gives me a really good vantage point of the plains to the east if I get up on one of those front range mountains. And so yesterday I hiked to the top of Sugarloaf Mountain, and check out what I had to say. I'm standing on the top of Sugarloaf Mountain at about 8,888 feet in elevation. And I used to think that the horizon rose up to my eye level, but as I look over here to the east and across the city of Boulder, that horizon is definitely not at my eye level. It is clearly a little lower, which means what? It means we live on a globe. Sorry, flat earthers. So right there, that's another thing that I was wrong about. The horizon is clearly below eye level. You have to look down to see it, which means that the earth is curving away. It's not a flat plane. It's actually a ball that's curving away. And this was something that I had seen before. However, with my previous confirmation bias, I always explained it away in my head that that was a flat earth proof. I was like, I feel like I'm looking down, but I actually probably can't see where the actual horizon is, and it's actually probably higher, and it probably does rise up to my eye line. And I would say stuff like, well, maybe I am actually looking out, and that is my eye line. I mean, I would tell my brain everything I needed to tell it to convince myself that what I was looking at was a flat plane. However, it's clearly not. It's clearly not up at eye level. It's way below, and that can only be explained with a globe. So my point is, it's okay to admit you're wrong. It's okay. Nothing bad is going to happen to you if you come out and try and be honest with people and say, hey, guess what? I made a mistake. I wasn't correct. I made a mistake. Nobody's going to fault you for that. They're going to have more respect for you. It's just not a big deal. And especially like with YouTube videos and stuff, I mean, what is the worst thing that's going to happen if you come out and say that you're wrong? Somebody's going to pop up on your video in the comments section and talk shit. Someone's going to thumbs down your video. Who cares? That's nothing. That doesn't even matter in real life. So like I said, it's perfectly okay to admit you're wrong. We're all wrong about things. And just come clean with it and let it go. Move on to the next thing. It's no big deal.